Hello, this is Marnie from Inspire Me Arts and Artsy Crafts. I have an Etsy store, which is where I started selling things, and I've been starting a craft booth because I am doing fundraiser for to pay my son's autism therapy. He went to Brain Balance, and it's pretty expensive, and so I am trying to pay that off. So we decided to start taking all the stuff that didn't sell on Etsy and put it in the booth. So last weekend was our first, and I did sweater pumpkins, and they were a huge hit. And I met someone at the craft show, and she has given me this idea of the snowmen, sock snowmen, that everyone is interested in right now. So these are really fun. So it's kind of another branch off of the, sweater pumpkins. You can use fiberfill or you can use rice. Some people even use beans. Um, there's some special stuff in the store that you can get uh, that is not rice if people do not want to use rice. Always store your stuff over the year in storage in closed containers or totes. Anyways, so we're going to use some tube socks. You can use whatever size you want and play around with it. Some people do just the one. So that's the two bumps basically. And then we've got the threes right here, which I really like because it really it screams snowman, you know? So it's unmistakable. So this is the biggest one that I've done. And you'll have to excuse my voice. I lost my voice over the weekend with the booth, so I'm just coming out of that. I'm going to use some bells for the bobbles on the top of the hats. We're going to try out some sock gnomes today. So you're going to need rice, the fuzzy socks, twine, rubber bands. We got different colored rubber bands from the Dollar Tree. These are great because if there is anything showing through, you can match it with the colors. I think that helps a lot. And of course, glue gun. And I tried doing black eyes, and I really think that looks good for the rustic look. But you can also use these eyes, and so some people like to make it look a less shiny, and these I feel less comfortable with maybe falling off. This black I used puffy paint, but it takes an extremely long time to dry, and there's nothing more upsetting than bumping it while you're working or later and you think it should be dry and it's not. I mean, hours later and it's still perfectly wet on top, and you don't want the paint ruining your snowman face. So I am not going to be using that anymore, but if you have the ability to just leave it for 24 hours and it not get even near touch, then go ahead and try it. I've got the eyes here. I've got colored eyes, and then I've got just black eyes, and I think that the black ones and the blue ones really look the best. The colored ones kind of get tricky, and I think they look a little kitty. But, it depends on who's getting them. We've got button eyes, and then pipe cleaner. Sorry, my sign keeps falling down. I thought I'd put the sign that I made for my booth. It says, aim to inspire. I painted the background, and this is a sticker, a mandala sticker. All from the Dollar Tree. So we got pipe cleaner for the nose. You can find something else for the nose, like a a button nose, like, or a more like a bald button, that would be great. It really depends on how accurate you want to be, because technically the Frosty the Snowman song is a button nose. So, you know, just depending on what you're looking for and who you're marketing to, just depends. I've got some colored buttons here if you want to go very bright colored and pastel and maybe kids or whatever. So I've got, those are from the Dollar Tree as well. Okay, so this is another trick that I learned. That helps. This is another fall candle thing that I was doing. So I've got this, and it's perfectly long enough to fill it up and let it stretch down once it gets heavy. So everybody says about 4 cups of rice. It does pack it in pretty well, so you don't want it too squishy or it's not gonna stay up and heads will fall over, you know, and eventually with time I think the socks will stretch out. So I think this is about size 6 kids socks. I think that they're about right, the same, just the perfect size that you don't have to cut. But if you get larger ones, you can usually get 2 out of them. So also, if you end up cutting this part off, the calf stretch here, it really is more meshy, and once it stretches out, rice fits through it really easily. So what I found is using it, I started making baby ones. So these are technically baby snowballs. So you can make a little family, which I feel like people will do when they do a set. They might choose a big one, a small one, and a baby or something like that, unless they want to match. So a lot of people cut this top off. I don't, because I use it to fill up the bobble on the top. Unless I have one of the really large adult socks, then I end up having that extra. So now we got our rubber bands. These really thin ones, I feel like are good for tying stuff off maybe. But I like to use these really thick ones because they're a lot stronger. I straighten it out. So that it's straight the entire way around. Do not hot glue this. Do not hot glue this. No, no, no. Because you don't want these to break. Break. They're going to be going through hot and cold when they're in storage. So you want to have a bobble at the top, and I just feel like this, using this toe of the sock is the best, and it looks really, really good. You don't have to tie, you don't have to do anything, and then this just fills it right up. No problema. Now we're getting another rubber band. The bobble goes pretty tight, so usually just using a color one works just fine. You can put twine on it if you want. Which I'm forgetting to put twine on these to reinforce things. So Now, when you want to do it thick, because it's going to, when you tighten it, it's going to really roll up. Then go even to the front, because when you go to the side, it means that they end up sitting just perfectly, one short, one long, and it's perfect. I'm being careful not to put any hot glue on the rubber band.